Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Moletrap here, bringing in another StarCraft cast from the old days. Another boomer cast going on here. This is between Pretty and BeSt. And Pretty is also known as Free. I'm going to call him Free because I just kind of more so know him as Free, even though he usually used Pretty as his ID. Yeah, and so BeSt is going to be the white Protoss player, by the way. And we got a battle of dragons. Free's going to be the purple Protoss player in the bottom left. Two dragons duking it out here in the Pro League, ladies and gentlemen. Very, very cool match to see, I think. I personally like PvP. I like Protoss versus Protoss. Some people don't like mirror matchups as much, but I really dig Protoss versus Protoss. It's just very interesting matchup to me. And we got a battle between two dragons. Two of the top players. This is played again in 2010, and looks like she's playing peekaboo for some reason. Like sometimes they cover their faces, and it's like obvious that they're like covering their faces, but her, I don't know, it's just like a little different style of face coverage. Anyway, this is on the map Central Plains, by the way, which I'm going to throw on the screen here for a moment. And as you can see, it's a wait, is it? It's not fully on the screen, is it? Come on, there we go. There we go. Okay, so it's a 3 spawn point map, and it's a very interesting map because because it's got a ramp down out of your main into a natural, but behind your natural, there's actually another ramp down into a sort of protected natural expansion. So you can have you can protect your main ramp and still get an expansion up in the back. And so probably going to see both players expand, honestly, is kind of what I'm expecting here. But the thing is behind those expansions, I don't know if you can tell on this graphic. Yeah, it's hard to really, yeah. Behind those expansions, there's another ramp out of it. You can see that ramp, but the ramp is blocked by neutral lurker eggs. So you can't really rush to get back behind there. It is a eventual vulnerability, but it's not an early vulnerability. So that's why you can get an expansion pretty safely in that area and not worry about it being attacked from the back, and you can protect your ramp relatively easy. You can put zealots on it and dragoon behind it or something like that, or even cannons, I guess, and you can protect from the frontal attack and not worry about the back attack because it takes so long to get through two lurker eggs because they have such high armor. I actually don't know how much armor it is. I think it's like 12 armor or something like that. So even zealots are gonna have a hard time battering through the eggs. I think maybe it's 10, might be 12, hard to say. And it looks like we actually have BeSt trying to stop Free from getting his expansion down. He does eventually get that down though. So there, it looks like yeah, so we're gonna have expansion from them. There's the SKT coaches over there. Yeah, so we see on the, yeah, so both players have expanded. But anyway, I wanted to do this game because these guys are actually both in Group B of the ASL Season 12. And so this is a really interesting situation. We have both these two players that are really, really just absolute top-level Protoss players. Oh, are we seeing some shenanigans here with a cannon behind there? He's gonna cannon. No, he doesn't. I don't think he has a forge, so you can't do cannon rush. But you can see there's the eggs, and you can walk your probe through to get a scout off, but you can't. It's really hard to get units through there. Basically, you can get stuff on the high ground. You can. I think I've seen cannons be put on the high ground there or something like that. But anyway, and also, oh, that's interesting. So he also has vision of those minerals, so he can actually walk that probe out again if he needs to. That is actually kind of an interesting thing that might come up. But yeah, so we got two dragons. They're gonna be facing off in the ASL. Actually, well, they may be facing off in the ASL. They're not actually. Their first matches are not against each other, but it's a dual tournament format. So if they both win, they'll meet in the winners match, or if they both lose, they'll meet in the losers match. So they could be meeting in the ASL in just a very short amount of time. And it's just cool to see these two players. You know, kind of got to root for them a little bit because these are both players. They're both in the situation where they're considered some of the best Protosses in the world, best Protosses ever, and they were still, you know, not able to. I wonder how he got the vision to walk through those eggs that way. I mean, the first time. How did he get through there the first time? Maybe if you creep up the ramp from below, you can see those mineral patches at the top of the ramp. I guess is might be what happens. So he uses that pylon to get vision to walk through there to get a second scout in. So there you go. That's one of the reasons why he put it there. So because he could come from the other direction instead of through the main there. Anyway, I really want to talk real quick about the fact that these guys both were players that just could not break into stardom. You know, they just could not quite pull it off and get those individual wins. Of course, BeSt, famously got second place to Jelizerk in the OSL, but I think that was the only time he ever even got to the semifinals, if I remember correctly, during the Kespe era. He was considered to be a really incredible Protoss player, and he just wasn't able to put the wins on the board when it came down to the tournament wins, you know? Free actually got to the semifinals a lot. He got to the semifinals several times, but in like 2008, 9, 10, he got to the semifinals 4 times. But he ran into Bisu, Zhangbi, Flash, and then Flash again in those semifinals. He's just never quite able to really get those wins, right? And, he ended up playing in the SSL in 2017 and got to this. He actually got to the finals there. So he's actually kind of put a little bit higher results in the remastered era than he did back in the Kespe era, you know? But as SSL, I'm not sure, if it wasn't quite the same rigor. It was definitely a lot of the best players. He lost to effort in the finals. Now, here's an interesting thing, though, is Free did win the Caster Muse Star League just recently in January of 2021. Caster Muse Star League Season 4. And guess who he beat in the finals? BeSt. So, I don't know. Anyway, both these guys they've never gotten that stardom. They never really have gotten a win in a major tournament, and so they're both trying to do that. Both trying to do that again. I feel like this season's ASL is really going to be incredibly tough, though. Is BeSt? BeSt is kind of. He's broken out of, again, BeSt is the white Protoss player. He's broken out of his base to the south, out of his protected natural. And he might just be doing that to protect the third. I'm not sure. But he's actually still guarding his main ramp. And he's kind of building south towards Free's part of the map. And it's kind of an interesting strategy there that he chose not to use the eggs as protection. But okay, so it looks like maybe he did. Yeah, so he actually got to a point where he could put cannons on top of the eggs to make sure he could protect that and take a third base there. Okay, so that's what he's doing. So now he has 2 easy to protect ramps to protect all 3 of his bases, which is actually really, really smart play by BeSt in that situation, using that part of the geographies to his advantage here. And it looks like Free was trying to get an observer in to try and scout what was going on, and it died some cannons there, it looks like. So BeSt now at 3 bases, and this is very interesting. You almost never see 3 bases in a Protoss versus Protoss, and we're seeing it here in this game, and it's because of the protectable ramps and stuff on this map that they're able to do this. But it looks like Free is going to try and break up this ramp. He's going to use Reavers to pick off those eggs, and they're going to be able to do short work on them, because if you've got 10 armor but the Scarabs are doing over 100 damage, then it's not going to last very long. So he's going to be able to get those eggs pretty quickly. Just needs one more Scarab, I think. I don't know if he would have gotten the damage upgrade on the Scarabs or not. Actually, I think it's Scarab damage. The exact number of the Scarab damage is escaping me. The exact amount is a lot, but the exact number is I'm not remembering that. And he's actually going to use these Reavers to kill the cannon at the top of the ramp as well. So he's really going to put the screws here. And it's interesting because now the ramp is actually protecting those Reavers as well, because BeSt can't really get a lot of units within range of him very quickly. He's going to try and come in here and do that exactly. And the shuttle, he stops the Reavers. The one Reaver slow crawls out of the storm. He's got to pull it back and defend that ramp, I think. And no, the Dragoons are actually able to get in range and actually pick off the Reaver as well. Huge swing in BeSt's favor right there, taking out those Reavers, not really losing a lot of consequence himself. And looks like Free is dodging around to the other side now, the other side of this expansion, or sorry, the other side of of BeSt's territory to go up the main, and he's going to get forced back there as well. The Zealots are holding on top of the ramp. He's got Dragoons on top as well, so he cannot break up that ramp either. And I guess he was just hoping to be a little bit more mobile. Actually, no, this is actually even a different group of Dragoons. So he's got one group of the south, one group of the north. He's trying to hold the bottom of this ramp. This is a little bit dangerous for BeSt to move out, but he does move out, and he gets a nice storm of the Dragoons. Good split there to make sure they're not taking too much damage from the storm. But he doesn't actually get the High Templar in return either. So not a good situation to take that much damage. And BeSt is now feeling comfortable enough to get a fourth base. Fourth base, he's not even going to have a ramp to protect that one, but he's just going to use his map control and his superiority of numbers to control that one here. And by the way, again, this is the Pro League. If you look at the score at the top, you can see it's actually 2-1 in terms of SKT over Wunjin. So if BeSt wins this game, he's going to take the series. This is do or die for free in order to protect his team in this match right now. And it does not look like that's going to happen. What can Free pull off, though? Now, if BeSt is coming in for a little bit of a drop, and if he caught that drop and picked off the shuttle with some Templar in it or something like that, then that could have been a way to start clawing back into this game. I mean, Free isn't that far behind. He's getting his fourth up a little bit after BeSt, I think. But he didn't lose a lot. He's lost the 2 Reavers and Shuttle. It's big, but it's not like he lost his old Dragoon count after that or anything like that. He lost a few Dragoons, but not a ton. And so he's not completely out of it yet. He can still pull off, you know, a couple moves here and there. And he's been able to stay even economically. So if he can get ahead tactically in some way or another, he can still pull this off. And another drop is looking to be prepared here. Now, does he have Templar, or is he going to try and drop Reavers again in that left side of the map? He's kind of lining up that shuttle in a way, but in the meantime, oh, that's his shuttle. I thought it was BeSt shuttle running in. So now we know what's in it. It was a Reaver, but he's having to play defense here, and just running straight into the natural because the main is not in between it. And what does he do? He's storming the egg too. I'm not sure what was going on there. By storming the high ground there. Oh man, just genius move. And you can see the exasperation on Free's face. He's like, oh man, I lost so many probes, damn it. And that might be so much he's not gonna be able to come back from this, because it was a really smart move. He like did the storm drop, and Free like dodged the storm drop, but he didn't run his probes away. He just kind of like dodged the storms, and then we picked up the High Templar again. He kind of ran him back to the minerals. And he's like, okay, well, guess what? There's more than one storm on these Templar. They had a lot of juicy energy up there they've been saving up. Okay, now Free is trying to keep up with BeSt in the economic game by expanding down to this 5th base, while BeSt expanding to his 5th base, and it's going to be forced to cancel. So this is where now BeSt is going to... Oh, Dark Templar run in. I didn't even see this. Dark Templar have run into BeSt's expansion. I don't know how they got... Oh, that must have been... Maybe they were in that shuttle earlier or something like that. I'm not sure, but they were able to do some damage here. They're going straight after the Nexus. Forces are coming in to try and deal with this, but the Observer is lagging. He's going to try and kill off the Nexus before the Observer comes in, and he is going to get the Nexus. Nicely done by Free. Nice little counter move. And so losing that attempt at a 5th base is now been equalized by taking out BeSt's 2nd base. And he actually even has a DT in the main here, just kind of sneaking around, taking some pot shots. And what is this? He's stopping mining at 2 of the patches by a Dark Templar in the 3rd base as well. So these DTs are being super annoying, and this is exactly what he needs to try and come back into this. He almost unpowered like 4 gateways there with that pylon hit. So this has been distracting enough that he's able to get his 5th base started again and up and rolling. But I just feel like, you know, eyeballing their armies, it looks like BeSt has a bigger army right now. So if they come to a big engagement here, it might go BeSt's way. The Reaver is a little bit out of position. It's going to get picked off early, I think. Yeah, the shuttle has abandoned it. A nice storm there. It's going to do some decent damage. A little bit better storms by BeSt, though, right on the juicy chunks of the army. Both players just storming the entire battlefield. Everyone taking damage from these side storms, but it looks like BeSt is a little bit of reinforcement time, and his Zealots are going to come in here. There's no Zealots left to block them, and the Dragoons are going to be forced to fall back. He's going to only have to fall back a little bit farther for his reinforcements to come in. Free's purple reinforcements coming from the south now as well to re-engage as well. And is he going to have enough? What's in that shuttle? If it's some Reavers, it might be enough. The storm forces it out. He just tripped them. takes one shot and immediately dies, but at least it does bait those Dragoons in that they take counter shots from his own Dragoons, so Free might have taken enough of an advantage here. You know, BeSt has gotten that one of those bases back up, but now they're kind of equalized there, and it might be actually that taking out the probes and taking out the base might have been what what Free needed to make sure he didn't lose that battle to those extra reinforcements that would have happened if BeSt had a better economy going on. Of course, he did lose probes of his own, but he was able to probably replace those a little bit easier than replacing on the Nexus. So, things kind of calming down here and equalizing a little bit as they both kind of fall back. But that was a huge battle, and I think if Free had won that battle, it would have been the turning point. Well, the end of the turning point, I guess. And look at this, that DT is still in the third, picking off random probes. I don't know if he knows that's there, because he's like, oh, I've got cannons at that base, so everything should be fine. 11 kills on that Dark Templar. Oh my goodness, that is a hero Dark Templar right there, doing lots of work. He's finally gonna die though, because he's finally onto him. The Observer's come into play, and he's going to take that Dark Templar. But that did a lot of damage there. So Free actually, I feel like Free might have kind of like evened things up economically there. But if we're looking at moving forward, though, BeSt has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bases. Yeah, 6 bases it looks like, and Free has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bases. So again, we're at a little bit of a tipping point where, you know, BeSt is pulling ahead in that economy, and Free's gonna have to do something about it. And last time he did do something about it. He killed off a Nexus with Dark Templars, and took out a bunch of probes as well. But you know, things are gonna have to turn around here again for him. Or you know, he could take his own 6th base at this point, but I feel like it's a little bit late for that almost, because you know, he would have had to have already been building it to keep up with Free. I'm sorry, with BeSt. Now, he did kind of win that last battle in a way, so maybe he can still have the map control to take that 6th and maybe even a 7th base or something like that. I don't know if I've ever seen a Protoss versus Protoss with 7 bases, and I only say that because the MSL finals that went to mining out the map with Historic and Bisu, I don't think there were even 14 bases on that map. It was a kind of a small base map. So anyway, more engagements coming out here in the middle. Beautiful storms by Free on top of a nice chunk of BeSt's army coming through the choke point here. Some counter storms going off, but the storms by Free are just a little bit better. But Free then runs his Templar shuttle in and just dies underneath storms. What are you doing, Free? This is the third time that he's just run his important tech units in to die. Just his shuttle into the barrel, and while there's a side storm going off on top of his shuttle, he drops that Templar out of it. I think it might have gotten a storm off, but he lost it. But it might not have mattered, because it still looks like he's pushed BeSt out of that location. He needs to use this opportunity to take out a base, though. He needs to use his advantage to do some economic damage, or it's not going to matter in the long run. Dropping Zealots on the high ground just to get some damage on those cannons. It looks like he might do that. He might in fact do that. He might take out this 3rd base again. He does. He takes out the cannons, and BeSt, it's too much of a logjam to get through those choke points to actually get in there to defend that base. So he's forced to engage Free in the open again. A mediocre storm on a couple of those Dragoons, but it looks like he's just got more stuff. That storm was a nice juicy one on the Zealot clump. He's outnumbered by Zealots, but he's got those tech units, so he might be able to win this still. Archers are in play as well. I think Free has some observers out, so it's okay. Oh, he's going to try and target down the Nexus with these Zealots, and it looks like they are going to be able to get in time. BeSt has brought back his force, but they're just not going to be able to kill those hardy Zealots quick enough, and the Zealots are even just going to go running into the main here, it looks like, and try and do even more damage, take out a probe or two. And it looks like Free has gotten his 6th base up while this happened, so Free now is ahead. You know, he's been making some mistakes. He lost out the tactical early game, but he's been winning the mid and the late game pretty well as far as the tactics go. So he's been losing some little errors here and there, making some mistakes, but still winning the tactical battles. you know, that was a really good position for Free to fight in. With BeSt clumped into a choke point, Free was able to get a much better arc of Dragoons on those forces and much better storms as well. It looks like he might lose some Dragoons for Free though over here that kind of get for Free. They kind of got trapped over on the side apart from the rest of the army. They're trying to retreat here and they're taking damage as they run. He may not want to run them directly into his 6th base though and get it killed. And there's this scout. What? Scout to attack the High Templar. This is amazing. This is the best Protoss versus Protoss I've seen all week. Absolutely amazing. Now it's BeSt's turn to run Zealots in to try and take out one of Free's bases. And this is Free's 6th base, which is actually a little bit more important in a way, since it's kind of the new one. Random storms going off in the middle of the map with skirmishes. This game has gotten scrappy, ladies and gentlemen, and it's hard to keep track of what's going on here. There's battles going on the right, bottom right. That base was taken out. There's battles going on in BeSt's expansion. There's random storms going off on nothing in the middle of the map, just like tickling High Templar and Dragoons single-handedly, because they're getting, the High Templar are getting caught and they're just forced to use their storms because otherwise they're going to be wasted if they just get killed. So a bunch of storms on both sides basically getting wasted there as these really scrappy skirmishes happen. So, but again, you know, BeSt has gotten BeSt has traded the base that he lost at his 3rd for Free's 6th, and now he's trying to rebuild. Actually, we just see it is finished rebuilding his 3rd. Free is not even started his rebuilding his 6th right now. So again, and I can't believe he has a scout. That's amazing. A scout is going to run into some Dragoons finally. Of course, the scout is going to be decent at, you know, harassing these High Templar if it can get some shots off, but it's going to be very weak if there's any Dragoons around. And Free once again looking in not great shape, and maybe the scout might have been a little bit of a BM scout. I mean, he has the Stargate already, so it's not like too much of a stretch to get that. You actually got a Stargate to get Arbiters. It's kind of amazing. But BeSt, I think, might have a better handle on the situation and might feel that he's farther ahead than I was thinking because of the tactical wins that Free was winning, that he was like, well, I can get a scout in this situation. But I really do think it was just that, you know, he saw lots of, you know, Zealots and relatively few Dragoons as he shifted into more High Templar, and said, you know what, maybe there's an opportunity here to get this scout out and do some harassment. And he did. That scout, I think, paid for itself because he was able to force the High Templar to run away from the battle a couple times. And oh, he's gonna recall into Free's main. Now he has control. Oh no, he has control of Free's high ground on top of his own natural expansion. He's gonna be able to hold that with some units while other units are able to do damage to the gateways and stuff. Although it looks like he's not being completely organized in that sense. And Free is storming, but look at the amount of side storms he's having to use just to try and break up his own ramp here. He even brought the scout in to help there. There's now cloaked Archons in his main. Free is able to get up there, but it looks like he's having trouble, you know, fighting this off a little bit. Not all of his units engaging in the battle, so it's going to be a lot of losses. I mean, he didn't lose a lot of units. He killed a lot of BeSt's units, but Free had to spend like 6 or 7 Psystorms to do that. And there's Free shaking his head again, mumbling to himself as he runs out of money at one of his last few bases. BeSt is probably also run out of money of his bases as well, but he's built more of them, so it's okay for him to run out of money at one of his bases. He can transfer the probes over the new ones. And I think Free is now just wasn't able to keep up economically. Made some tactical blunders, but still was able to pull off some major tactical victories and really control the mid and the start of the late game, but he just has fallen behind in the economic game, unfortunately. Just not as aggressive as BeSt at getting those expansions up. As you can see, BeSt expand all around the top of the map, and Free did not expand all along the bottom quite as aggressively, and so he wasn't able to keep up economically. And you can see he's kind of like, how did I lose that? Because he was ahead, he was winning the battles, you know? He was doing really, really well there, and machine gun. You can hear the Korean cast just going da 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 da, like doing sound effects for the machine gun ceremony there. Anyway, cool match. What a cool Protoss versus Protoss. I'm really glad I watched that one. Maybe again, I don't know, I might have seen that one 10 years ago and just forgotten about it. But well done by BeSt. And you know, I would say that Free lost that more than BeSt won it in a way, you know, because BeSt had played really well in the beginning of the game and got an early advantage and pressed it into an economic advantage, but then kind of lost everything else after that. But Free, you know, didn't expand enough. Free threw away major tech units all throughout the game. And I think it was Free's game to lose after the first couple times that he won some major victories. I guess towards the end of the game, it was Free's game to lose. And throughout the middle, it was still pretty back and forth. But yeah, he just couldn't pull it off though. So hope you guys enjoy that. Again, their ASL group is going to be coming up very soon on September 1st. September 1st? Yeah, September 1st. So keep an eye out for that on the ASL channel as well. Anyway, fun PvP. I think that might be the most bases I've ever seen in a PvP. Because I think Free had, at one point, Free had 6. What was it? At the end here, like there was a point where Free had 6 bases and BeSt had 7, I think. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, I guess BeSt never had 7. I'm sorry. BeSt had 6 and Free had 6 at one point, and then Free went down to 5 and BeSt went on 5. But 12 bases in a PvP. One of the economically highest games I've ever seen. All right, that's good for me. Hope you enjoyed it. GG. Thanks for watching.